Hello, and welcome to Green Dragon, a monthly show brought to you by Howard Community College, where we talk about green initiatives in the state and county and ongoing sustainability efforts at HCC. Also, ideas and ways for you to be more sustainable at home. I'm Bob Marietta, HCC's Environmental Health and Safety Supervisor, and I thank you for joining me today. My guest today is Radhika Wittajungi, a project manager in the Stormwater Management Division within the Howard County Public Works. Thanks for joining me today, Radhika.
Thanks for inviting me, Bob.
Okay. Radhika, I know you specialize in the engineering required for stormwater management. But what else does the Howard County Department of Public Works responsible for?
So Howard County's Department of Public Works is responsible for a lot more than stormwater management, where we work on repairing stormwater ponds and stabilizing streams. DPW takes care of the county roads to ensure traffic safety and pedestrian walkways there. We manage utilities, the public sewer and water, including the water reclamation plant. And we run the Alpha Ridge landfill, collect trash and recycling within the county, and maintain the county's buildings and facilities.
With climate change impacting stormwater and everyone's perception of it, more students are considering pursuing careers in all aspects of civil engineering. Using your own career as an example, what advice would you give today's students seeking such a career?
I think the main thing I would recommend, regardless of which field they want to pursue, is that students be on the lookout for work experience, either internships, part-time jobs, or even shadowing someone in the field, an engineer in my case. It gives you a sense of what the industry is about before you commit to it. Finding out what you don't want to do is as important as discovering what you would love to be working on. And if you're looking at civil and environmental engineering, it's a very wide-ranging major. So try to do different things within it and see what they're like. For example, I worked in utilities, in sewer repair before I moved to stormwater. And since climate change is going to impact us all in different ways, I think every career will be affected by it. So I encourage everyone to learn a little more about it regardless.
Yeah, you yourself earned several advanced degrees and worked in several areas, industries before working at Howard County. Today's students, we push them to get internships and start working while they continue education. What were your experiences like?
I do feel like the range of experience I have shows what a varied field this is, and all of them gave me a new perspective. My internships showed me what a day-to-day my life would be like in this field. The graduate degrees allowed me to go in depth into forestry, science, policy, different aspects that do impact my work now. My initial work experience allowed me to do field work and learn from the bottom up, the basics. This helps me feel more confident with the decisions I now have to make. I might not have been as comfortable with them if I only had the book knowledge. So whatever you do, it'll be valuable, and you'll gain new skills that'll help you along the way.
Has being a woman in what many consider a male-dominated profession helped you or hindered you as you advanced? Has this been changing for new women in the field?
When I was in college, long ago, the male to female ratio in most of my technical classes was 7-1. And I met more women in the environmental science field than in engineering. Since then, though, I feel like I've met more women in my field. And in fact, right now in my department, it's 50-50. We have an equal number of male and female engineers. I feel like it's more inclusive and welcoming. There's always going to be challenges to being in a traditionally male-dominated field as a woman. But I hope that I'm selected for a job or a project because I'm a good engineer, not because I'm female. Yeah.
I know everybody in Howard County is glad you wound up here. Okay.
Thank
we were
you.
talking earlier about everybody knows your name. Okay. Anything to do with the civil engineering in Howard County. So we're glad you're here. So that leads me next to ask, how did you wind up here? How did you come to be in Howard County? And once we got you here, what has kept you here?
Okay, so I've lived in Howard County for quite a while now, and I've always wanted to work here, or at least be local. Before I came to the county, I was working as a consultant in different firms, and I had projects and field sites all over the Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, Maryland, DC, Delaware. But I'm most familiar with the challenges and the concerns in this area. So when the opportunity came along to work for the county, I jumped at it. And it's been a wonderful time, even though I started work the day after the Ellicott City flood. So stormwater management was very, very active at that time. And I've enjoyed this, and I feel like it's an opportunity to give back to the county. So here I am still.
Okay. Now I know you're active in scouting and work on conservation activities with lots of different youth groups and young people, but you also work with a group of mostly older folks in a program from the Agricultural Extension Service called Master Watershed Stewards. What can you tell us about this group, and what value do they contribute to our community?
So the Watershed Stewards Academy is a program that's run through the University of Maryland Extension. And it is to educate and train volunteers on watershed and stormwater runoff issues in this area. It's a huge problem in the Chesapeake Bay, and most of us who live here in this region have dealt with flash floods and severe storms. The Master Watershed Stewards work with their communities to find solutions to local stormwater issues. And this program trains them to do this. A number of stewards are retired and are giving back to their communities in this capacity. But becoming a Master Watershed Steward is something that anyone can do. And in fact, classes are virtual through the HCC. So I encourage everyone to be on the lookout for the next session, which will begin next fall.
Well, thanks for that. It's wonderful people to work with. They continue to work with us here at the college, even after they graduate. And so we're very glad that we're connected with the group. So, Radhika, what impact can you see community colleges like HCC having on the communities that they're in, on the awareness about stormwater and other effects of climate change and other sustainability issues like environmental justice?
I feel like community colleges play a huge role in raising awareness and driving action on stormwater management and climate change, sustainability, and environmental justice. They're really uniquely positioned to engage local populations because they tend to be more closely connected to their surrounding areas. Excuse me. They can integrate environmental science, sustainability, climate change topics into their curriculum. community colleges can do workforce training through certification programs or vocational training that focuses on green jobs. This will help address the growing demand for skilled workers in the green economy, while addressing specific local sustainability challenges that we have. I feel like community colleges can also host workshops, seminars, forums, public forums to inform local residents about the risks of climate change, stormwater pollution, and environmental injustice. And they collaborate with local governments and nonprofits and businesses in the area, so they can kind of develop avenues for applied research. Whether you're designing a more sustainable infrastructure, stormwater infrastructure, or studying local climate impacts, or assessing how communities may be disproportionately affected by environmental hazards. This will help, and this helps students who are at the community colleges get more involved in hands-on projects that address these real-world sustainability challenges that we have in our communities.
Wow. It sounds like you were at our green team meeting yesterday. Those were all the items that we were discussing and that the college and all of us here are working on. So I know you weren't there, but you could have been. You know, that was great. So, Radhika, what do you read or listen to these days to keep up with the rapid changes in our political and social environment? Any particular podcasts you listen to? Hint, hint.
Well, for sure, the Green Dragon podcast. I'm a big fan of NPR, National Public Radio. It's in my car all the time, and I listen to podcasts like The Daily and Sustainable Babble. I haven't had as much time for reading lately, just because work's been busy, but I do listen to podcasts.
Okay. Sustainababble. I'm going to steal that. Okay. Have to use that. Okay. So what is a typical day like for you as a civil engineer at working in our public works department? What happens when you get there to start your day?
So I spent the majority of my time in the office because I have about 8 capital projects that I am the project manager for. They are mostly stormwater management, pond repairs, but I do have outfall stabilizations, and they're all spread out around the county. Most of them are still in design, and I will be seeing them through to construction. I have one that will be hopefully going into construction in December, so I'm very excited. In addition to that, I help with the NPDES annual report that the county submits. It's basically a status of our stormwater initiatives and facilities and best management practices that we send to the state and federal agencies. And then I help with resident concerns when somebody calls us and says they have an issue, a stormwater issue. It could be runoff, it could be erosion, drainage. I'll usually go out and take a look, see if it's something that we can help with, see if I can direct it somewhere to the appropriate other agency or group in our county. So it's kind of a mix of trying to manage the projects that I have, and keep them moving forward, as well as being out in the field or checking our sites.
I know we all have this vision of you wearing a floppy hat and wearing the rubber waders, okay, tromping out into the streams. Do you get to do that very often? Actually, go out and get into the water?
I do. So I get the chance when we are scoping out a site for a project. During when our field crews are out there, I try to go out and get out in the stream. And then in the spring, I volunteer with a group called Stream Waders, and we go in and sample streams for stream health, and we look for benthic invertebrates, bugs that have no spines in the streams. We have about 10 sites that we've been monitoring for about, I want to say 10, 12 years now, to look at the stream health in this area. So I do get the chance to go in, and I try to encourage people to come and join us when we are out there, because it's always great to get anyone who's interested involved. I have scouts that come with me and learn how to sample and look at water quality. You're never too young to start. So it's a great opportunity, and I do get to get my feet wet.
Okay. Yeah, I know our students always enjoy when you take them out and are hunting for the bugs in the creeks here on campus. What are we learning? How are we doing? Yeah.
No, I just wanted to say, yeah, we actually had a stream project that's on the HCC grounds, and that's one that we've also sampled in the past. So it's fun. It's in your backyard, Bob.
Yeah, I can see it out my window. How are we doing? Are we getting the streams any better? Or with all the salt we're putting down and the pollution from the cars, are we getting worse? How are we doing?
We are slowly getting better in some areas. We sometimes it depends on what kind of a year we've had. If we've had a lot of snow, or on the very snowy years, we've had a lot more salt being put down. And so we probably have a lot more, a higher spike in salt in the waters. And that's a problem, because some of our waterways go into the Triadelphia and Rocky Gorge reservoirs, which are drinking water sources. And so we need to be careful how we put down the salt, or in general, what are we doing? What are we putting down on the ground or in our waterways? Because we want to make sure our streams are at least in the good categories. We have quite a number of streams in the poor or fair category. They might sustain bugs that can survive in a lot of areas, but not the sensitive species that we want. So it's a continual process of monitoring, trying to make people more aware of what we're doing and how it's impacting our environment around us.
Yeah, one thing I know, we had some students working on a project measuring the salinity of the streams, and they were giving their results to your department, and they actually adjusted how they put salt on the roads, and they started a brining program, or they put salt brine down on the roads before the snow happens, and then it requires less salt to be applied later on. And in fact, the college benefits. They give us the brine to put on our roadways here as well. Have you been able to notice any real change since the brining program that started last year?
I think, well, last year was also a pretty, not a very snowy year. So it's still probably a little too early to say we have a trend, but we are hoping that things are improving. The brine definitely helps. There's no salt pellets that just disperse without actually treating the ground. The other issue with the salt is that it's hard on the infrastructure, on our pipes and things that are in the ground. It quickens the corrosion. So the brine definitely is helping, and we thank your students who helped nudge things along in this direction.
Yeah. Now, but people also know you as the rain barrel lady. Okay. So good. What even people that have not seen you at Greenfest doing your workshop, tell us a little bit about rain barrels and what people can do and how that can help.
So yes, so I manage the rain barrel giveaways for the county. I work with master gardeners and master watershed stewards who help me in this process. We give away rain barrels for free to residents, one per household, please, at Greenfest. And then we have another giveaway at the Alpha Ridge landfill. So residents can sign up ahead of time online and get a rain barrel and parts to help connect it. And we have a workshop where we explain how to do that, how to maintain a rain barrel. The nice thing with rain barrels is you can have it in a lot of places. You can attach it to a downspout, catch the first flush of rain that would come in a rainstorm. That generally has the highest amount of pollutants, and instead of just having it run into a stream, we're capturing it, and you can use that water. It's safe to use for watering your garden on a dry day. Some people used it for watering just their lawn. They have a drip hose on it. So rain barrels are great because you are using that water that would have otherwise just run down to the nearest stream. And we are somewhat unique because a lot of other counties have similar programs, but there's usually a cost associated with it to the resident. And we're giving them away for free. It is limited. When you see the emails about Greenfest and everything, you kind of want to be on the lookout and sign up for them quickly. If at any point you don't want it anymore, I ask that you let me know and bring it back to the landfill, and we can take care of it.
Yeah, for those that are thinking ahead, it's the Greenfest is going to be April 12th, Saturday, April 12th, here at the community college this coming year. And so we'll look to see all of you there. And don't forget, you got to sign up ahead of time for those rain barrels. And so please, we'll look for everybody to be there. Radhika, are you doing anything else with Greenfest this year?
We will be doing the workshop. So even if you miss signing up ahead of time for the rain barrel and you can't pick it up that day, I'll encourage everyone to come to our workshop later in the morning or early afternoon and learn about what the rain barrel is and how you connect it, how you maintain it. And I can then give you information about the Alpha Ridge signups as well over there.
Okay. Now, I know the county is expanding their Green Bin program. Do you have any involvement in that? Or if you're not directly involved, can you see any impact of that happening around the county?
So I am not part of the Green Bin work, unfortunately. It's through our recycling division in Public Works. It is out of my bureau. And they have been expanding the regions that have the green bin collections. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, especially if you don't have the space or you don't have the time to actually do composting on your own. The county will come and take whatever you put in the green bin. So hopefully it's your scraps, it's vegetable, fruit peels. These things then are taken to our landfill and then put in the compost area. So we have a very big composting program at the Alpha Ridge landfill. So this is helping us make use of what would have otherwise just ended up as trash.
I was wondering if you could tell if there was any impact on how many leaves and stuff get thrown into the creeks or shoved down into the storm sewers, since it was so easy for the county to come and take it away from people, or if they're still got those bad habits.
I think there are some people who are still blowing their leaves into the storm drains, unfortunately, and please don't do that. But hopefully, I think that one of the things that happened after our Ellicott City floods was that there was a lot more awareness of stormwater and the effect of stormwater. And it wasn't just Old Town Ellicott City. That was just the most dramatic part of the flooding, but a lot of areas of our county experienced flooding. And so a lot more people are aware of, the impact of it and that's things that they do, their practices can actually help or harm. And so I think this new awareness is helping us just overall become a better educated community as far as stormwater management is concerned.
I hope you're right. I'm afraid that people are going to think, well, we fixed Ellicott City, so there's nothing more we have to worry about for stormwater once that tunnel gets finished. And we're flooding all over the county. And so I'm hoping the awareness continues to spread. If you got do you do any education programs about the stormwater situation?
I have given talks. I go out and take anyone who's interested to see some of our sites, things that we have restored, things like that. It hasn't been a formal, I guess, program, but if anyone is interested, I'm happy to come and take you to a couple of our sites and see what we have done and what we are continuing to do to improve things here.
Yeah, I know you've inspired the local Rotary clubs to get more involved and get their memberships involved. And so hopefully other groups will take you up on that. And I know we will continue to try and get you here on campus to help us spread the word. And the Public Works, we've joined in on the Green Bin program, and we're very active with our composting here on campus. Okay. Well, Radhika, we've reached the end of our time for our show. I'm sure I could keep going. I'm sure you could too, but I want to thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome, Bob, and thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed this.
It's been a pleasure. I'll be back next month with another guest and another sustainable topic. In the meantime, if you have ideas or comments, connect with me at rmarietta@howardcc.edu. You can listen to other Green Dragon episodes wherever you find your podcasts. You can also watch us on Howard Community College's YouTube page. So take care. Okay. Remember that each of us, no matter how small the things we do, can always have a great impact when we all work together. Thank you.